I'm joined today by Peter Wack, who is the police chief in the town of Sandwich. We're going to talk about licenses to carry and FID cards, and I'd like to get a little bit of a breakdown about what the differences are and how Massachusetts deals with gun licensing. So thank you for coming to the show again.
Thank you, Randy.
Tell us a little bit about LTCs, I get that wrong every time, LTCs, licenses to carry and firearms ID cards.
The Firearm ID card, FID, is the card that is intended for people who would like to purchase or own firearms that have 10 or less rounds, such as handguns, rifles, and shotguns. It also allows people to have mace and pepper spray. The license to carry allows a person to carry a firearm either 10 or less rounds or 10 or more rounds, which would be a handgun, rifle, or shotgun, as well as carry a firearm concealed.
If you have an FID card, how do you get your shotgun or rifle or pistol from your house to the range or to hunting? How do you do that legally?
Well, the law provides a definite protocol for that. It's an unloaded firearm. It's secured in a certain manner in your vehicle, but it does allow you to bring it to the firearms range as well as use it for hunting. Okay.
Now, an LTC, on the other hand, allows you to carry a loaded weapon concealed.
Correct.
And I would think that the standards for being able to get an LTC have to be somewhat higher than getting an FID card.
Yes, when a person applies for a firearms license, if it's an FID or an LTC, it's the same basic process. They come in, they're interviewed, we do an application process in the station. But then once they leave, we do a very involved background investigation on them, which includes looking into local police files as well as national crime databases. There is a difference between the two licenses. With a FID card, a firearms identification card, the police chief or licensing authority is not able to apply suitability practices to the person applying for the permit. Whereas with a LTC, a license to carry, the licensing authority can apply suitability conditions. So if a person has been involved in a situation which causes the licensing authority to be concerned that providing them with a license might not be the best idea for the public, with a LTC they can deny the license. However, with an FID, statutorily we can't.
So even if somebody might be a potential troublemaker, you know something about a person who has not been arrested or hasn't broken any of these trigger points that would cause you to say no to an FID card, you would have to issue that license.
So what we've seen in the past is that a person will come forward requesting an LTC and will be denied for suitability. And they'll come immediately back and they'll then apply for a firearms identification card. Doesn't allow them to carry concealed, but it still allows them to own and possess firearms.
Okay, so a person in that case could then legally go and buy a shotgun or a pistol that has 10 or fewer rounds.
Correct.
And still commit a crime with it. All having, obviously that part would be legal clearly, but having legally purchased that gun. It's an interesting distinction between the two. Now, if you turn somebody down, is there an appeal process?
There is. They can appeal through the court system. Generally, they'll either represent themselves or have an attorney, but it is a due process right that they have.
And have you denied anybody since you've been police chief?
We have, yes.
And what has been the result of the challenges? Or have they been challenged?
Yes, we've had challenges, and to date we've prevailed on all our challenges.
That's the district court judge that gets to weigh in on that, I understand. And so far, those times that you've turned them down, he's agreed with you.
Correct.
Okay. Now, tell us a little bit about also the assault rifle. I just want to understand what the difference is between an assault rifle and, say, a hunting rifle and an automatic versus a semi-automatic.
Well, a semi-automatic weapon may have a capacity, but it only shoots one round as fast as you can pull the trigger. Each trigger pull is one round. With an automatic weapon, if you pull the trigger once, it lets off multiple rounds all at the same time.
So even a revolver would be considered semi-automatic, true? 6 rounds in the chamber every time you pull the trigger, it shoots?
Same general concept.
Okay, except for with a pistol, the loading is spring-fed, as with a clip on a rifle, and so essentially you can pull the trigger about as fast as you can pull it and you'll get rounds out.
Right.
Okay. And so what's the difference between an assault rifle and a hunting rifle?
Well, I think an assault rifle, the term came from the 1990s when the bans went into place both federally and locally within states. They defined what an assault rifle was, whether it involved flash suppressors or whatnot. And at that time, those types of guns which were clearly defined were banned unless you had owned them prior to the date of the law.
Okay, so the federal assault ban ended after 10 years. In 2004, it ended. However, Massachusetts put in an assault ban law at that time. And but people shouldn't think that that means that nobody can buy an assault weapon of any type in Massachusetts. And why is that you can still buy them even though we have a ban?
Well, the manufacturers made modifications to the designs that were around prior to the ban, and they made them so they fit within the criteria of the law. So yes, you can still buy a rifle which technically looks the same as a rifle which is banned.
And when you talk about magazines and the capacity of magazines, a 30-round clip, I don't believe you can buy a 30-round clip that's new in Massachusetts, but you can still buy a 30-round clip that was made prior to 1994.
Correct.
So there's some loopholes in that as well. I'm sure we're going to be talking about that at the State House. In fact, on January 3rd, there's going to be a big meeting there with legislators to talk about it, and I'll be part of that. And I really appreciate you coming on today to explain some of that, and that if somebody wants to be licensed, that there's different categories, and that they start that process by going to the local police department. Thanks very much for being on the segment today.
Thank you very much, Randy.